Hi, this is our group chapter 5 presentation on consumer markets and buying behavior. Now let's get started right away with model of consumer behavior.
Okay, so first of all, we will find out about the model of buyer's behavior and consumer buying behavior. What is it? It is the decision and action people undertake to buy products or services for their personal use. And a consumer market is a place where individuals or organizations sell goods and services to customers for their personal use or their consumption. So there are some examples of the consumer market like food, drinks, beverage, and many more. So here on the screen is the model of buyer's behavior. So first, the buyer's characteristic influence how he or she perceives and reacts to the stimuli. Second, the buyer's decision process itself affects his or her behavior before the actual purchase decision.
So we're talking to cultural factors. So first of all, culture. So the definition of cultures is the basic values, perception, wants, and behavior learned from social interactions. So we have like school, family, institutions, and marketers have to point out the difference between them because each culture, they have different needs and demands. So next we come to subcultures, and basically subcultures is kind of a smaller part in cultures. So they are communities or individuals with shared values based on similar experience. So take as the people, take as the race or like the location of them. So we're talking about three different races in American, which is Hispanics, African, and Asians. So the similarities of them is they have huge annual buying power, which means they are extremely attractive. And as for the differences, the Hispanics, they are more brand loyal and love to be treated specially. And the younger ones, they are price sensitive and tend to switch to brand store. As for African, they are more price conscious, but however, they are motivated by quality, selections, and experience. As for Asians, they shop most frequently and have the most brand conscious and brand loyal. And nowadays, the marketers put out a new strategy, which is appealing to the consumer similarities rather than the differences between subculture, which is called the total market strategy. Last but not least, we talk about the social class. So this is a society relatively permanent and ordered divisions. So let's take some criteria which we determine them into different segments, which is like incomes, the most popular, and going to like education, politics, and art.
Okay, so factors. Like consumers' behavior can also be influenced by some social factors such as consumer groups, social networks, family, and their roles or status. First of all is group. There are three types of group membership groups to which a person belongs to and has a direct influence on them. Example like society, club, team. The next one is reference groups to which a person compares themselves, and this group is like a ruler or a standard that a person uses to measure themselves. The last one is aspiration group. Is a subcategory of reference group which a person wishes to belong to. For example, models, actors, sports stars, and many more. The next one is social network. Online social network is an online platform for socializing and exchanging information, ranging from blog, social media sites to shopping sites. Some example of online social network is Facebook, Amazon, Instagram, and YouTube. Another is word of mouth influence. Is when a consumer shares a positive experience in their own words with their peers about a good or a service. It has more. This kind of influence has more powerful impact on the consumer buying behavior than advertisements. The next one is opinion leader. Is a well-known individual or organization that has the ability to influence the public opinion about a specific product or an issue. Like example for an opinion leader is politicians, celebrities, and sports stars. The last one is buzz marketing. It's a process of enlisting and creating opinion leaders to serve as brand ambassador who spread the word about a company's products. So, like for example, a campaign by Pepsi gets started by appointing Blackpink, a K-pop band, as their brand ambassador. So it has get a large profit from that campaign. Another one is family, which is the most important group of consumer in our society. And it also have a very strong influence on buying behavior as well. The last one is role and status. So a status is the position of a person in each group, and role is the behavior that is associated with that status. So people usually choose products appropriate to their roles and status. For example, like CEO and directors usually buy luxury goods than workers do.
So the next part is about the personal factors. Firstly, we will talk about the occupation. Personal affects the goods and services both. For example, blue-collar workers, they tend to buy more rich work clothes. However, the skilled types tend to buy more business suits. And the group specializes in making products needed. And for example, Kasparov Company offers rich mobile phones in order to avoid the constitutional damage of pedestrians and unnecessary burden. And the second is age and life stage. For each stage, has example is having children, purchasing a home, children going to college, and retirement. And the Nelson lifestyle groups system classified every American household into each lifestyle segment, and the classifications consider a host of demographic factors and behavioral and lifestyle factors. In conclusion, they better find, understand, and engage consumer, and create targeted, actionable, and specialized campaigns. And the third is economic situation affect his or her store and product choices, create more customer value. For example, in the past, smartphone makers only sold high price. Now they tend to offer low price models for people who are low income. And next is lifestyle. Lifestyle is the personal patterns of living as expressed in his or her physical graphics, activities, and opinions in order to help makers understand changing consumer values and how they affect buyer behavior. Lastly is personality and self-concept. Personality is the type of person who you are, shown by the way you behave, feel, and think. It is useful in analyzing consumer behavior. And the brand personality is the specific mix of human traits. For example, Gucci and Chanel with class and sophistication. And the self-concept is the people's possessions contribute to and reflect their identities. And the manager should understand the relationship between consumer and self-concept and positions.
Speaking of consumer behaviors, we cannot ignore the importance of psychological factors, starting with motivation. So regarding motivation, there are two common school of thoughts. The first one is based on Sigmund Freud approach, which focus on subconscious mental processes. By looking into the customer's subconsciousness, companies can gain deep, valuable insights about the underlying forces that directly influence customers' engagements and behaviors towards the brand. The second school of thought is based on the famous Maslow hierarchy of human needs, suggesting that human needs will change over time, starting with trying to satisfy the most basic ones and then move up the hierarchy in order. So by understanding this concept, marketers can present their products in specific ways that directly target the consumer essential needs. Also belongs to the study of psychology, learning describe the changes in behaviors that arise from experience. So this results from a series of different factors like cues, drives, and reinforcement. So let's make up an example. Let's say you want to impress your friends by having a new pair of shoes. So that's your drive. And perhaps your favorite artists have a pair of Jordan 1, so you want a pair of shoes as well. That's the cues. And that leads to your response of buying the shoes. The day after, your friends give you compliments, and it makes you feel great. That's the reinforcement. It reinforces your idea about the value of the product, of the brand. So over time, this learning process can really create a path in consumers' mind that leads directly to the product or the brand. Another interesting psychological concept is perception, describes the unique ways that individuals perceive the world through selecting, organizing, and interpreting information. So this can boil down to three main perceptual processes. The first one is selective attention, which allows our brain to only pick up the most essential information. The second one is selective distortion, which states that people tend to interpret information in a way that supports the existing beliefs. The third one, in conjunction with the second one, is selective retention, explaining that people tend to remember more favorable information. So marketers need to understand the significance of perception to effectively capture customers' attention and deliver the intended message. Last but not least, we got to discuss about beliefs and attitudes. So these two terms are pretty close to each other. However, there is a subtle difference. So beliefs is a person's distributed thought about something. So it is oftentimes changeable, and marketers will either want to reinforce or to correct a consumer's beliefs. On the other hand, we have attitudes, which is a person's evaluation, feelings, or tendencies towards an object or idea, and this is oftentimes hard to change. So that's why marketers or companies will try to fit the product into existing attitudes rather than trying to shift them.
The next one is types of decisions. First is the complex buying behavior. For example, buy a new house or a new car. Customer have to research and filter information clearly before buying. And the second one is dissonance reducing buying behavior. For example, a consumer who is looking for new furniture decides on a few brands available, and managers should increase trust, such as concentrate on building repeated products or by offering discounts. And third is habitual buying behavior. For example, the purchase of milk or bread in the nearby store, and the managers should use promotions and advertising. And lastly is the variety-seeking buying behavior. Managers should increase product presence in the market to create a product which has the same brand but different versions.
Next is the buy decision process. As marketers, we should be able to help the customer move along this process and in the end choose our product and have good experience with our product. The first stage is when a problem occurs, and this customer want to find a solution, a product to help them solve that problem. And after doing some research, they might end up with a few options to choose from. And then after evaluating these options carefully, they end up with the one that they like the most and then they buy it. But that's not done. After that, they will use the product and see if that product's quality matches with their expectation. And it's so important that we can deliver good experience, not just pushing them to choose our product. How about when a product is kind of new to a certain group of customer? Then we have this process here called the adoption process, have 5 different stages. The first stage is when the customer know about the product but have little to no information about it. After that, they're more interested in that product, so they want to find out more. And then they're going to evaluate the features of that product to see whether those features matches with what they need in their life. And then after that, they're going to try it for a little bit. And then if that product satisfies what they need, then they're going to start using it from then. And it's important for marketers to know about this process and help the customer go through this process so that the customer can adopt new products.
So the next part is the innovativeness. First is the innovators, they try new ideas at some risk. Second is the early adopters, they adopt new ideas earlier but carefully. Early mainstream adopters, they adopt new ideas before the average person. the late mainstream adopters, they adopt an innovation only after a majority of people have tried it. Finally, lacking adopters are suspicious of changes and adopt the innovation only when it has become something of a tradition itself.
There are five characteristics. That are especially important in influencing an innovation's rate of adoption. So first of all is relative advantage, which is the degree to which the innovation appears superior to the existing products. So the electric cars require no gas and use clean, less costly energy than the ordinary car, so its rate of adoption will be higher. Compatibility is the level of which an innovation fits the value and experiences of the potential consumers. So let's imagine of an electric car with the battery range of 100 kilometers, but your way to work is 150 kilometers per day. So you will definitely not buy that car because it simply does not fit your life. Complexity is how difficult to use and understand that product. Divisibility is the level of which an innovation may be tried on a limited basis. So, for example, you wouldn't buy an expensive, innovative new car if you don't have any opportunity to test it before. Yeah. The last one is communicability, is how easily the results of using the innovation can be observed and described to the other.